Talking.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Lucy.
Hello.
Hey, Greg.
Everything going?
Good. How are you?
Not bad.
Hi, everybody. We're just waiting for two more, I think. There's Howard.
How is that?
Yep. Eric.
Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Howie.
Hey, Howie.
Yeah.
I did send it to you. I hope you got it. The AI article said that they only paid about $19,000.
Yeah.
And but I'm saying the odds are really off because I think they paid a little more than that.
Howie, we have a quorum whenever you want to get started.
Okay. Yeah, let's start. As soon as you're ready to start recording.
We are live.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome to the Regional School District 13 Board of Education Special Meeting of the Building Committee, July 8th, 2026, 5 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, before we go into public comment, like everybody that's in attendance to go around, introduce yourself for the benefit of the recording. I'll start. Howard Weisberg, Building Committee. Bob, if you want to go internally, and then we'll go out to everybody.
Bob Moore, Board of Ed.
Lucy Petrella.
Wait, I'm not on.
Lucy Petrella, Board of Ed. Oh, how's that double? On my phone? Is that the problem?
There you go.
What's the problem?
Sydney Leggett, Superintendent.
Kim Newman, Director of Finance.
It's because you're going through that
Get
microphone.
out, come in and go. Just keep it off this.
Just keep it off.
Mark Simmons, Board of Ed.
Greg Putnam, Greg Putnam, Building Committee.
Darren Overton, Building Committee.
John Cross, Building Committee.
Phil Dwyer, Building Committee.
Eric Troy, Facilities.
Jay Lucarelli with ONG.
Dave Cravanzola with ONG.
Marnie Liska with STV.
And that seems like that's it, right? And okay, public comment. It does not look like there's any members of the public online. Sydney, is that mesh with what you have?
There's one person online. I don't know who it is. It just,
okay.
But if you would like to speak for public comment, please raise your hand. Seeing nothing.
Okay, and anybody in there with you in the room?
Nope.
Okay, great. We will close public comment. Item number 3, approval of agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a second by Lucy. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. Okay, agenda is approved. Item number 4, memorial renovation and expansion. Before we get to discussion and vote to accept bid alternates, is there anything we want to discuss in terms of progress on the renovation? Jay, usually you take this one. Do you want to give a status update?
Yep. So currently site work is ongoing. Cut and fills. Inside, we laid out for the E-wing and the B-wing for the underground plumbing. So we'll start saw cutting soon. And we started top track for the framing with the drywall contractor, and shoring is still ongoing.
Excellent. In terms of schedule, how are we looking?
Right now, we're just a little bit behind, just trying to finish coordination. But we're still early enough in the project where we can work some weekends and recover.
Okay, great. In general, should we, what type of coordination, communication on the schedule should the building committee look for? Would it be just kind of a simplified Gantt chart, or like a critical path, or what's your typical way of just communicating project schedule to us?
Yeah, I can provide an update, like a 3-week look ahead, which can see what's ongoing.
Okay, especially as things start to ramp up, and
yes,
it'd be great to know what phases are going on, and nothing too in the weeds. I've been inside your offices when it's in the peak of stuff, and it can be a little complicated. So
no problem. We can do that.
Dave, I remember what Platt looked like, so I just want a high level.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, that would be great. Anything else from the building committee in terms of what you may want to see in terms of the schedule? Okay, great. All right, yeah, just start figuring out what that should look like, and if we want more, I'm sure John and Greg may ask for more, but for the most part, we'll keep it fairly high level.
Yeah, how often do you want me to send that out?
I don't know.
In a couple weeks, monthly?
John, Greg, do you guys have any ideas on how often you want to see a schedule?
Monthly update would be, it's kind of pretty typical. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you do a 4-week look ahead or something, or like a little more detailed? If we can get copied on those, that'd be great.
Yeah, we do 3-week. We do every week for the OAC meeting.
Yeah.
And we also do in the monthly report, the full schedule. But there's also 1,000 activities, plus than that. So I'll try to narrow it down.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, I would agree. Maybe just the milestones really is more important to us.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
Any concerns with neighbors or the public or anything at this point?
No, everything's been quiet.
Oh, how'd the site make out with erosion and sediment control over the holiday weekend?
It was fine. Yeah,
Okay.
and we have the inspection with Weston Sampson, so there's no issues.
Okay, great.
How are you doing with the heat last week?
It was tough, but they got through it.
Awesome. Great. Where do we want to go next? David, are you handling the stuff that Laurel usually takes?
I generally know what she's working on. I think from her perspective, I was looking at her purchasing log. I think that from a standpoint of pre-construction, we have our GMP approved. So I believe all but 4 contracts or 5 contracts have been written and out the door. We have a myriad of contracts in various status. Several of them have a fully executed contract with bonds and insurance that allows them to start work on site. We've been coordinating with that with Jay and his team, and the balance of the contracts will continue. My guess is by the time we get to the middle to end of August, we'll have all 20 some odd contracts fully executed, all bonds, insurance, everything, and complete. And I know that one thing that will happen, I believe, Jay, is there is one change that we're going to have to process because the roofing contract was an allowance, right? So we'll have to process a change because that was, we're using an allowance that was within the GMP. So that's kind of one bridging type document that we'll have to issue. But for the most part, the pre-construction efforts are buttoned up. We will, Laurel's was taking a couple days off. Otherwise she would have been here, but I'm sure she may come to one more meeting to give her official send off. She likes to do that and give a nice blunt bye to everyone before she, moves on. So
Great. The roofing contract is obviously still in the works then?
There's nothing more that you need to do. You took the necessary action. They received their limited notice to proceed, so they have already started onboarding. And like I said, that I believe that's one of the last 4 or 5 contracts that is yet to leave our doors to the trades. So it's well in the works.
We successfully avoided the issues that have plagued other school projects on the roof.
At this point, I believe yes.
Is there a time where it no longer can rear its ugly head?
I don't think it's really a risk that we need to track on the project at this point.
That's awesome, because that was obviously one of our biggest fears with this project. So I commend everybody that put all the effort into it. I think addressing it with legal ahead of time was a wise move, and we ended up getting a Garland contractor, which was fantastic. So I think it worked out about as well as we could have hoped. So thanks for your efforts on that and avoiding challenges.
It's a team effort.
Yep. Okay. Anything? So before we go, anything else from an O&G standpoint? I'll turn it over to Marnie, and I saw Angela on here too. Turn it over to Marnie. Marnie, you want to take over? Oh, you're muted. Can we unmute Marnie?
I can only ask her to unmute. She has to do it herself, I think.
She may not be able to, huh?
Looks like she's in a car.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, folks. I'd like to give an update on the project budget if I could. So our project budget with the award of the roofing package is currently showing a shortfall of $181,000. The owner contingency projection. So currently I'm projecting PCOs or, changes in the field that could potentially affect cost as of today. I'm projecting $358,000. I'm also projecting other contingency costs as I handed out at the last meeting. So I'm currently projecting out of a $1.5 million owner contingency that we have $1.2 million of that committed. So
that includes the 358?
Yes, it does. Yes, okay. It does. So in my mind, we've got only about $284,000 left that is not committed.
It's not necessarily encumbered, but it is likely to be committed to something.
Yes, I think that's a very, very low contingency balance. I think it's definitely tight situation.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely a conservative approach is what I would recommend at this point.
Where would you like to see that contingency, the uncommitted amount be?
Honestly, I'd like to see it at $1.5 million at this point in the project. So it's extremely low for this point in the project.
Yeah, so Howie, I don't think we need quite that much, but I would like to see us back up around 600 to 800. So what other alternates can we exercise to get us to that number? Marty, can you put a updated sheet on ones we could put together and apply that would get us back up?
Yeah, you mean value management?
Yeah, but we had a list. We kind of accepted some, but we may have to review. We may have to look back at that again.
Yeah, so currently the budget is reflecting O&G's value management total of $689,821. So the GMP includes $689,000 of current value management. I would need O&G to bring up that list because those numbers get tweaked all the time. Laurel tweaks those numbers as contracts get written. So if we were going to try to maybe select some additional value management, we would need O&G to reissue that.
Yeah, I mean, Howie, I think we should do that now. And also, we need to track what the total cost of allowances in the contracts are and the likelihood that we would actually use those.
I do have some of those inputted in my change management log. I'm just waiting for the remaining contracts to be issued. Some of them were like hourly allowances, so I'm waiting for the final labor rate to coincide to get a final value. But I can share what I have currently.
So like Jay, I'm also, as contractors submit their schedule of values, right? They get a contract, they submit a schedule of values for approval. That's when we can see the amounts that they carried for their trade allowances. So as that happens, like Jay, I've been entering them in a log. It's not 100% complete, but I can tell you that there is at least $530,000 of trade allowances.
Right, and that's a big number. So if you take the 300 and add the 500, that still gets us. I know you're right. I'd like to see it over $1 million, but I think based on where we are with the project, I would be comfortable closer to the 800. So if we take the 5 and then with the owner contingencies, we're not particularly far off, but I think we should look at any of the value management items that we haven't exercised, that we should certainly review that as a committee.
Agree. How much of the trade allowances typically end up back in?
Here's the thing, Howie. I've always, and Greg can speak to this too. It's a good thing to have, but it's also a bad thing because there's a 99% chance they're going to spend all of it. That's the rub with doing it that way. But in this case, again, because we have such a short schedule, it gives a flexibility for O&G to move forward, to keep the project on roll. But they're going to spend it. We just have to be particular about it, right, Dave?
Yeah, exactly. And when you think of it, if in the perfect world, if, like you mentioned, John, if the time constraints weren't there, those allowances wouldn't be there, and each one of those items would be addressed as an as an owner contingency funded change. So it's I would say by crediting that back or waging on how much is coming back, you're not saving anything on the overall budget. It's placed in a trade allowance because it allows us to move forward with work and get trades going on it without going through that formal long process. So it's not, and I would say generally, the allowances are fairly well consumed because the allowances are crafted off of things that we can't necessarily quantify in the documents, but we know are likely risks that we're going to encounter. So, I think big picture, I would say it's fair to say that of the total trade allowances, we will likely consume 80% of them.
Okay.
Greg, I don't know what you think from if that's
No, I think that's reasonable. I definitely think it's reasonable, and I think it's still better to have it on your side so you can do it quicker. I mean, we
look,
need to compress
listen,
the schedule
yeah,
to get done for the summer. So I think we need it.
So again, because of those two numbers are what they are, I think we should prepare to how we look one more time at any value engineering or alternates on whether or not we want to exercise those. We might have to visit the canopies again. I don't know. But we need to, I agree that the contingency should be a little bit higher in this stage. But again, we do have some built-in flexibility with those allowances.
All right. Yeah. So like I said, everything gets us a little bit closer. Sydney, do we want to, at what point do we want to discuss the issues with the building permits? Does that factor into this discussion at all, or?
Unfortunately, not yet, just because we don't have any resolution yet. So we did go to court this morning, and what the judge did is directed us to third-party mediation through the court system.
Okay.
So we don't have any answers, but we do believe that mediation will be scheduled in the next several weeks. Unfortunately, it doesn't allow us to meet our deadline tomorrow. The other thing is that we were hoping that the injunction would stop the collection of additional permit fees, but that hasn't happened. So all permit fees have been paid in full as commercial, with the exception of one. HVAC and plumbing is remaining.
All right. One of the interesting things that we found going back to the state statutes was 7-401, specifically states that regional school districts are considered municipalities. So, hopefully they take that into account. I think that was the most concrete piece. It was under municipal finance. So,
but how I think we as a committee right now can't count on any of that money. And if you go into arbitration, as Greg probably been through a few, I've been through numerous, they're probably going to split it. I hate to say that, but so we can't really count on that. It'd be great if we end up getting it at the end. That would obviously be a big difference. But I think the position we're in right now, we definitely might have to look a little closer at eliminating something that we wanted.
Well, we have because we have a shortfall of 181, and we'd like to get an additional 300,000 in contingency anyway. So a lot of what we recoup from the building permits would essentially go back to padding contingency.
Correct.
So in the interim, we have to look to try and get the budget number as close as possible.
Yeah, and while we're talking about this tonight, and I know Darren has his hand up, so I'll hand it over to him after, but while we're discussing this tonight, Kim and I found more information from Jay today, just that the one thing that really is pressing right now is the outdoor classroom, because site work is happening and that it's going to be closed off, starting to be closed off in about 3 or 4 weeks. So if this committee does think that in any way the outdoor classroom would be added in, that is something that we need to decide pretty soon, like within the next 3 weeks, I'd say.
Okay.
Is there, I have to look at the plans for the outdoor classroom, but is it something that can be started in terms of, is it site work that's needed for the outdoor classroom?
There is site work that's needed. And Jay can take that one.
Yeah, it's site work. It's all site work for the outdoor classroom.
Okay. And what's the cost of the outdoor classroom?
I think it was $275, I think. Let me look it up.
Is that just for the site work?
It's only about the site work.
The outdoor classroom is $275,000 of site work?
Yeah, that was the number that was given at bid time by La Rosa. That was the alternate number 4.
Are there other things included in the outdoor classroom? Aren't there like canopies and things of that nature? I mean, like shade screens or shade sails and other things in the outdoor classroom that also are also included in there? Are there other contractors that are tied to the outdoor classroom?
No, only at bid time. It was only tied to a site work.
Interesting.
Seems like an awful lot.
Yeah. Maybe we can ask Laurel more about the scope for that one, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a nice fancy one. Listen, I built outdoor classrooms and we hardly did any site work. Doesn't mean that we can't do something there between now and the end of the project. It may be that we just don't do what they had fully designed. That's all. I mean,
It's just that if it's closed off, we don't get the big equipment in.
yeah, no, I understand that, but it's not, we still have an outdoor area there. So while it might not be 100% as somebody envisioned, I believe we could probably make something that would work.
Yeah.
A lot of
275,000 is a very large amount for a
Yeah.
for an outdoor classroom.
Yeah, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine the biggest concern is to get site drainage in there before it gets closed off with the building foundation.
Yes.
Would you? Yeah. Okay.
Is there, Jay, would there be a way to discuss with the vendor to, a number just to put the drainage in? Just so is there stuff that we can do that may not be the full outdoor classroom, but does prep it enough so that we're not locking ourselves in?
Yeah, I can go over that with them. I have to actually look at all the details of that. I haven't really spent much time on it.
Yeah, it almost seems like we need to value engineer the outdoor classroom and see what needs to happen now so that we can get it prepared if it has to happen in the future or has to happen in a scaled down format.
Howie, I don't know if you can see, but Darren has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see that. Darren, go ahead.
I thought you just didn't want to talk to me, Howie.
No, I didn't go that far over on my screen. Sorry.
No worries. Jay, it's probably a question for you. In your experience with filing for building permits for these projects, is the value that's established as part of filing for the building permits come right out of the project estimate or the actual bid values? How are those values determined when you enter those into the permits?
It depends what stage of the project we're in. I pulled permits based on estimates, whatever the estimated value of the project is, and then went back and reconciled at the end of the project with the final contract value. They always say, all building departments always say that they don't refund any money, but they always gladly take more money because usually the contract increases. So we always kind of do it when we do estimated just on a little bit of the lower end, so we don't give more money that we don't get back. But in this for this project, we actually had most of the bids in, so we used the actual contract values.
And then there's a number of different permits. There's one that's pulled out for the building construction itself. There's others for plumbing, HVAC, whatever.
Yep.
Is there any part of the full project value that's not included in one of these permits? Like, for example, do we need to include the site work value in pulling a building permit?
Well, that also depends on the district. Some districts usually they'll just want the building permit and not the, talking about the MEPs, just the building permit in general, just on items that the building department's going to inspect. So, your concrete, your site, because they're inspect that steel, items like that. Usually you don't do it on the value of like painting, carpet, tile work.
Yeah, Darren, if I could, we don't typically pay on demo. But again, you're talking commercial building, public schools, we never pay building permits on that. In fact, we don't pay trade permits either. It's so unusual, that even that logic doesn't even apply here because I'm far stretched to think of any time that I ever paid any permit fee other than the state's requirement at whatever it is, 32 cents for any public school project I ever did.
Yeah, I get it, John, but I think you know where I'm going with this. Is there any way that, well, let me put it this way. What direction have you gotten from the town of Middlefield as far as these values that are supposed to be included? Is there any ability for us to apply for the remaining permits and withhold site work values and other things unless they ask for it?
Everything has been paid currently. Only one that has not paid is Ferguson for the HVAC and plumbing permit. But we pulled the demo permit early on, and then we pulled the building permit, whatever it was, a couple months ago. And then recently, electrical pulled theirs, and just last week, fire protection pulled theirs. So we're pretty much all pulled, have permits for everything, just except for the HVAC and plumbing.
And do we know what the total value is of what we've applied for all these permits?
I do. I just have to give me 1 minute.
So it sounds like we're past any option to omit value.
Yeah, it's over 500,000. I think we have about 186 or 189 left, which will be what the HVAC plumbing permit fee will be.
So yeah, I think we're going down the road of no outdoor classroom, no canopies. We need to cut out of the budget.
Yeah.
And
Again, this can, from a political standpoint, this is directly related to the fact that we got to pay all these fees. It's ridiculous.
Because we only had $50,000 in the budget for that cost, right? So we're almost $500,000 over budget on that line item.
But we also had budgeted in owner's contingency, assisting with reviews and inspections as needed.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Kim?
Yes.
Yeah. So we had fully planned to assist, but and we even went 30,000 over, the building, the state fee in our estimate. As additional assistance. So we put it in the budget, and we also tried to carry it as a soft cost. But I don't think anybody would have expected, $700,000. And it says in Office of Legislative Research reports and in code that fees need to be reasonable and cover the costs of administrating the service.
That's what we're really trying to get to the heart of, is that the letter from the first selectman lists, all employees for annual salaries, like that's not reasonable. They're not just working for us on this project, right? So we're really working, we want to be able to pay reasonable costs. We've never said that we wouldn't, but we need to have them actually be reasonable and realistic.
Yes. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And the town, obviously, because their permit system, when you put in municipal, shows up 0, the town has already established that municipal projects do not pay permit fees. So,
yes.
They can't, the fact that that's not in an ordinance doesn't mean anything. If you're considered a municipal service, you pay permit fees. You don't pay permit fees. So the fact that we're offering reasonable cost support is actually above and beyond what needs to happen.
Yeah, I just wish we had withheld the payment a little longer, because I feel like now we're at the point of no return. and we don't have any options. And the fight is almost worthless to get the money back at this point because we've got to cut stuff out of the budget and we can't bring it back in later.
Yeah.
Well,
So what we'll be doing at the end is probably just returning money back to the state that we could have spent on the project.
You might be right there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we are going to mediation, right, in the next few weeks. So, you know, and then that'll be mediated by a judge, not a, you know, privately hired mediator. It'll be mediated by the courts. So, I wouldn't give up yet. But I also like the problem with withholding is that it would delay the project. Right, so we've been talking about that the whole way, and any withholding of the payment of any permit fee means that we're vastly off schedule.
And if we work without the permit, there's obviously fines associated with that. Right. And I don't think ONG would agree to that either.
I guess we handed them the state statute and told them to code the next permit municipal.
Yeah.
But again, we're already past that. We paid and now it's done.
Yep. I guess that first question is on the outdoor classroom. Can we remove the outdoor classroom pending Jay having discussion with them on what it would, you know, what are the options? What are the things that need to be done that can't be done once the foundations are in? Is it just drainage? Are there other things are there other small items that can be done? So don't paint us into a corner.
Yeah, so I just was looking at the details and reading the alternate as everyone's kind of been talking, and all the drainage is in the base bid, so that's not part of the alternate. So it was to remain, so we're good there. It's just looking at the kind of materials plan. It's just a ton of like stamped concrete. There's a bunch of raised beds, and there's like a 30 by 30 shade structure, which I don't know what that's made out of. There's some site benches, so it doesn't look like there's anything that we can't do after.
We may have to go with something other than stamped concrete. I mean, we may have to look at alternate materials.
And a lot of curves and circles. So
we may just have to value engineer the outdoor classroom a little bit, or scale it down, or use the design as a concept. And a guidepost moving forward, but it seems like we should still be able to accomplish some of the goals of the outdoor classroom, even without it being part of this project. So that may be something we all take a look at on the side. But
I guess and I'm sorry that I wasn't prepared for this in Laurel's absence, but would it help if we just went back through the list of what are any of the either value management or alternate items that we think are still feasibly on the table for the committee to make a decision on? And then when the last responsible moment for those decisions is, so that we could have a kind of a more efficient discussion and meeting about what it is, when we have to decide, and take it from there.
Yeah, I think for next meeting, was Laurel back on Monday? Dave?
I think she was just off the last couple of days of this week. Okay. So
we could probably say early next week before next Wednesday's meeting, and because some of them might be off the table already because we've already issued contracts, we've already started submittals, things like that. But some, maybe some finished stuff that we haven't even touched yet, we can still look at. So we'll sit with Laurel early next week and hopefully come up with a list for next Wednesday.
I do.
Thanks,
I think that's a great idea. I also, I think the canopy is probably one that I think has to go. Aesthetically, I'm not even, I think the new bid with just the canopy 4. What was it? Was it 60,000 or 40,000? What was the?
I think we were going to get that number tonight with all the other pieces included. Right?
No, I'm still working on it. I need this week to finish it up. I have all the contractors because the original alternates included both 3 and 4, and we talked about keeping 3 and just eliminating 4. Right. So I do have the steel number, which is probably the biggest number. That's like $83,000.
Okay.
Just for the steel. Lighting was like $2,900. Site work will probably, it was $40,000 in their the original alternate in the bid. But again, it'll be probably about half of that, so you get about 20 there. Painting will be minimal, because just, one of them. So you'll probably be in, around the $100,000 credit.
Okay.
That gets
Just
us a long
eliminating
way to
one.
the 180.
Sorry, but I didn't hear that.
That's really helpful in getting us to that 180, right?
Yes, yep. So I should have something for next week, for next Wednesday. I told everyone I needed pricing by this Friday, the latest. So I'll assemble it.
Okay. Would it be possible, could you possibly break out the sheets referring to the outdoor classroom as well?
Yes.
That way we can look at it. I mean, we haven't gone through everything with a fine-tooth comb, but maybe looking at value engineering the outdoor classroom.
Yeah, I could print those.
Is there any other outside work that we could handle later through our capital budget?
Irrigation, we're carrying a $30,000 kind of allowance for irrigation, which we don't really have a design for. So could always give that back, and you guys can do that later.
When would that have been carried through?
Oh, you would do that when you're putting your grass
Okay.
and whatnot in.
Yeah, it'll be next summer, late spring next summer. So we have time for that.
Okay.
We still actually have to write the RFI to get the design team to design it. They kind of just said provide irrigation, as a general note on the drawings, but there's really nothing identifying what it is.
Well, we should talk about that anyway, because there's really very little point in putting irrigation at an elementary school.
Yeah, you
based
guys
on
were on wells too, John, so the
Yeah,
only irrigation that we were concerned with were the soccer fields. And I'm not sure that any of that was disturbed or is gonna be disturbed.
No, it's not.
right. So in not only that, Eric, you have the IMP, you have your issues with fertilizing and those sort of things. So it really doesn't make sense to do that for a number of reasons. So I would certainly give that back.
$50 to go.
Any other less work on athletic fields?
We're not touching the existing fields, the
Yeah.
existing soccer fields. So it's just the area that we're touching during construction, we're replacing. And it is a very high-end spec as far as the fields go. Because I guess there's a town soccer club, so
Yeah,
they just didn't want to put.
they do a lot of
anything.
maintenance.
Just, I know this is a sensitive subject. However, when we did the 0 to 5 rating of things that affected education, learning, safety, efficiency, towards the bottom were the pickleball courts.
What was the cost savings on that?
And or the lights, right?
I have to look it up.
As a Middlefield resident, I'd be willing to spend my profit from the building project to have pickleball courts put in by the town.
There you go.
Say that again.
I think the town, with all this influx of money, could pay for the pickleball courts.
It could.
Yeah.
Personally, I would rather look at adjustments on the pickleball courts before any adjustments on the outdoor classrooms. And I'm not suggesting that it's the same scale of cost, but that also seems like something that can be done down the road with more ease than something in the center of the school structure.
I think
Tim's looking at that, but I think the pickleball courts was 40 or 50.
one of the challenges
Because we were kind of keeping half of a court, right?
So I have here eliminate 50% pickleball and tennis courts and all lighting not associated with educational curriculum, 140 to 160,000.
So
But
there
that
you,
was still being determined to be a good number.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, those are
That's
just
that's
kind
gotta
of
go.
values.
That's gotta go.
That's something we, could put back in the capital budget later. Have to get through, and get a little bit of paper.
Yeah, I mean, I guess is pickleball going to be part of the curriculum over there? I don't know. I
But
don't know.
it would be 50%, so there would still be pickleball and tennis, it would just be half, and there would be no lights.
Oh, okay.
So then if Middlefield wanted to double the size and put in lights, they could choose to do that, I guess the town could. But we would still be building half of the court.
Well, the other half is the basketball courts. That's the ones
We'd be keeping the basketball courts, tennis and pickleball would be eliminated, wouldn't it?
Would it?
It says 50% pickleball and tennis courts, so I think there would still be them, there just won't be 4, maybe there'll be 2. What I'm reading from Carson's summary here. But we will have to confirm that.
Yeah, that's probably something we could, next week resolve.
Yep.
I think it's half.
So, yeah, I guess one of the questions, because we asked this the last time. Yeah, we still have to pay for a certain percentage of getting the courts done. We still have to pay for a certain percentage of fencing. We still have, it becomes relatively incremental. And I don't know if it's going to be an exact, 50% cost. Obviously, you get economies of scale once you're out there. But yeah, it is. I think there is savings there that we have to consider.
I did find more information from Carson's email. It said it would be reducing the court service in half, which would provide a limited amount of pickleball courts, basketball area, and 4 square zones. And the lighting, all the lighting. So there still would be the courts, just not as many.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I share my screen? I could show you what it looks like.
Yep. Jay, you should be good to go.
Yeah. Can you see this, my screen? Oh, hold on. I got to share. You see the screen here?
Mhm.
Okay. So what we had talked about was cutting this in half here. So eliminating this pickleball court, and this is a kind of a pickleball tennis court combo, eliminating this, and then keeping this tennis court and keeping this basketball court.
I'm sorry. It's not moving well. Are we keeping the top, the bottom, the left, or the right?
So the 2 on the left
Would be kept?
eliminated.
Okay.
And then the 2 on the right we would keep. That was
Gotcha.
kind of the direction we had in the beginning.
Okay.
But again, we can decide to eliminate. I don't know if you need tennis courts for elementary school, if it's just a basketball court, you know what I mean? So.
Well, it's on the table.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, the 3 big items that we have to get down are the canopy, which are we all somewhat in agreement on the canopy as an item that should go?
It's going to have to.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
great.
is that for just one of the canopies or all
That's
the canopies?
just the one canopy. It's canopy number 4, correct?
Yeah.
The
Correct.
front
Okay.
right, like facing the front right.
Yes.
As
Yeah.
another option, if we have to lose save money, can we only install the foundations for the canopies we want? And then if we have money, add the structures afterwards, but at least the foundations are there. So we can, so it's something we could do in the future.
Did we ever get a full value for elimination of the canopy?
Well, those
James
would be peers, Greg. So you could do those if they got capital money, they could do the whole thing.
That's a good point.
I would because it would look kind of weird, I think. I know what you're saying. It'd be nice to, but that type of construction we could do anytime. We certainly
Yeah, I
have
was just
canopy.
thinking if we had the, whatever, say the structure's $100,000 or 150 grand, towards the end of the job when we know we're okay, we can just add it in from the last of our contingency.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, we'll have a number of, yeah, it should be on a list. We should have a list of things that we could always throw in at the end just in case. But based on these numbers, we're probably gonna be right down to nothing. What I see.
All right. So the canopy, you're going to get us a number, Jay, on all that.
Yeah, we have the number to eliminate both. That was in the bid. Now I'm just working on the number to eliminate number 4.
Yeah, I bet.
Great. Because we have it obviously from the roofing contractor. Now we just have to work with the other subs to figure out what their number is.
Correct. Yeah, I should have everything by Friday.
Okay. So that's a good one, and that may net us 100. So then the other 2 items are the outdoor classroom and the pickleball courts. With the outdoor classroom, I'll be honest, 275,000 is a really large nut. Yeah. For, I think we probably, I think we can do the outdoor classroom, but I also think we can value engineer it.
Yes.
Agreed. Yep.
We've got a lot of smart people in here. Drainage is already is going to be installed. So there's no foundational issues, no structural issues. It's just, what do we want in terms of furnishings? And
yeah, and I can show my screen again to show you kind of what it looks like, what the alternate's based on.
Yeah, that would be great.
While Jay's bringing that up, I'm hoping we can have a quick discussion about site work that might be needed and when if we do the poured rubber on the playground.
Okay.
That's a big safety one.
Yeah, I think we can simplify that significantly.
Yeah, there's just kind of
every curve in concrete costs so much more money, and stamping the whole thing costs a lot. I think we can get a very functional outdoor classroom at a fraction of the cost.
And it might be colored concrete too. I'm not sure. So that would add cost too if it's colored concrete.
But were they planning on doing this before enclosing everything? Or?
No, we won't do this the next spring.
Okay, so they'd still have to get would they be pumping the concrete in, or
they'll probably buggy it.
Okay, so buggying is still an option for any solution we have, if it's paver blocks or if it's.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I think there's many different options for improving the outdoor classroom. I mean, it's beautiful. I just don't think it's a $275,000. What's the size of it? I'm sorry.
I'm not sure the exact size. I don't see any dimensions.
Okay.
All
right. But if you could separate that out and send it to the building committee.
Yep.
Everyone,
awesome.
My apologies, but I've got to sign off for a 6 o'clock meeting.
No worries.
Yeah, we have a board meeting at 6 as well.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye, Marie.
The outdoor classroom's the whole new courtyard, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's essentially what's there, just being boxed in by the addition.
Yeah, so we own just grass.
And that's what we were discussing about trees, or is that the existing courtyard that we were talking about for trees and cutting the grass and all that?
Yeah, the trees will be gone. And they might already be, actually.
Yeah, they're gone. The trees are gone. It's right now. So if you don't accept the alternate and do anything, it's just going to be a grass courtyard. That's what we own right now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think we need to provide an outdoor classroom. I think it's ideal. I just think we can do it a whole lot cheaper than $275.
Yeah. Wesleyan just redid their football field. They have the old turf hanging around. We could astroturf it. And there'd be number lines built into it. Maybe not.
We also have the old cock and check turf.
Jay, what kind of timeline is impending or urgent in terms of deciding on poured rubber for the playground surfacing?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay. I apologize.
That's right. There's no urgency. Because that would be something we would do, springtime, summer, right before we turn over. I just have to, I don't know the lead time. That would be the only thing.
I just want to make sure there's nothing site work wise now, since they're doing site work, that we need to decide on that.
No.
Yeah, that's wide open, and we also still always have the overflow parking as another activity that can occur completely independent of impacting the school. So, all right, so we have 3 items. We have the canopy, we have the outdoor classroom, we have the pickleball courts on the table. Irrigation. I'm sorry. Very good. So we have 4 key items that really seem like they're going to get us to where we'd like to be. And then we have things that we can add back in. So, things that we can add back in are rubber. Things that we can add back in are the outdoor overflow parking.
We can also, I know we kind of talked about the allowances earlier, but there are a couple that we can look at. Just taking for instance, we had an allowance for if we had contaminated soil under the underground storage tank, which we did not. And I think we carried, like $6 or $7 grand for that. So it might not be a ton of money, but we could peck away at a few of them that we know we're not going to need.
Okay. So at the next meeting, obviously it doesn't sound like we're going to have any votes to accept alternates at this meeting.
I just want to be clear and make it noted that these are cuts in addition to cuts we've already made to get on the budget. And that's partly because of the extra $600,000 in building fees being paid. So this is not, we're not trimming outdoor classroom and pickleball courts purely because of building fees. We already cut stuff, and the building fees are still shorting us, that we're cutting even more because of the building fees. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want it to seem like, they're just taking the $600,000 and, putting pickleball courts in with it. We've already cut significantly to get to the point because of the building fees.
We've done a whole lot of value engineering, which is part and parcel of the,
Yeah, I just wanted it on the record of this meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the next meeting, we will discuss and vote to accept bid alternates.
Yeah. Yes.
Great. And there's nothing critical that has to be decided now for ONG, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So should we go back, close item 4, go to item 5? Any members of the public that you have, Sydney?
There's still that one person on. I don't know who it is, but if you'd like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. No, nothing, Howie.
All right. With that, you want to get a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second?
Second, John G.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.